musing I'm going to share in this episode last night. And after listening to an incredible podcast this morning, part of me feels like I should rewrite, or maybe write a new music and share that one instead. I've learned over the years that there are certain tasks I cannot complete at night, and that my writing takes on different personalities depending on when I write. After giving it some thought, however, I've decided to continue as planned because all thoughts are part of my journey, just not the revelations or the I get it moments. So, hear me out. I have some strategies I'd like to share too, along with the challenge I've set for myself that might help others at this moment in time. This past week has felt like I'm in a different world. Traveling to Oregon didn't even feel quite like this week. Monday, I took David's mom to a cancer checkup. Very happy to report she doesn't have to go back for a year. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I spent most of the day meeting virtually with the show choir students as we began working on our choreography for this year's show. It was great to see the students. LD said it, though, we both missed working with the kids in person. Interacting and building relationships felt weird, and here's the pun, distant. Some students couldn't get their internet to work. I felt like others didn't make the virtual intensive a priority like they would have if we'd have been in person. And still others have chosen not to participate. And that is always hard on me, but hits a little harder this year. I'd venture to say every coach wonders what they could have done differently to keep a student, and whether we should or not, we take it personally when we lose a kid. I can't help but wonder if I'd been able to keep everyone, if maybe we'd been able to connect during the spring, or if I just found one awesome activity that everyone would have responded to during that first stint of distant learning. Ultimately, I know in my head that singing and dancing isn't for everyone, but this year it seems particularly tough, My mother came down Friday and spent 2 days with us. She came to visit because David and I are afraid to get around our parents after we start going back to work and regularly seeing more people. We really have stayed pretty isolated this summer, and I know what you're thinking, I traveled to Oregon, right? But I'll just be dead honest. I felt more safe in the airports, on the airplanes, and in a different state than I feel in Carrollton most days as I'm out and about. Everyone wore a mask, and no one complained about it. Now yesterday, while Mom was here, we actually ventured to Kansas City and spent some time antiquing before doing a little shopping. We definitely did not feel particularly safe as we wandered around. Like I have to say it, it doesn't do us, any of us, any good to wear masks below the nose or around the chin and the neck. I've tried to do some of the shopping that I need to do online, but there are some new things on my list. Things like a water bottle with a lid so germs don't land where I'm putting my mouth. Or how about this one? A few tops that I can wash in hotter water after every time I wear them. Tops with longer sleeves, but lightweight so I won't roast this fall in the heat. Teacher friends and moms, have you thought about what you're wearing to school or what your kids are wearing? My normal school attire won't stand up to the test of washing, in hot or hotter water at least, after every time I wear them. When we flew, we were advised to cover as much of our skin as possible. So have you thought about not wearing the shoes you wear at school into your house? How about taking a shower as soon as you or your kids get home from school? In Carrollton's case, students and teachers will be in 3 or 4 buildings, if you count the junior high as a separate building, with about 900 people all day long. I'm trying to read advice from hospital nurses. I feel like they are the closest model we have to look at, and they've been at this for 6 months, so they probably have pretty good advice. They've done their part to isolate from their families to protect them, so now I guess it's my turn. Both our moms are alone. My mother, fortunately, has some fantastic friends and her church, besides family that will help if she needs something. David's mom has a sister, but they've already talked that they shouldn't socialize because her sister will be helping with the grandkids who are school-aged. My mother lives 60 miles away. David's lives around the corner, though she might as well live on the other side of the ocean. So much to think about besides just preparing our rooms and lesson plans for the first day of students. Can you imagine what the administrators are trying to foresee? I am on the committee to train the teachers to use virtual instruction should the need arise. It's like every teacher across the country is a first-year teacher again, besides thinking about protecting our families and ourselves. There are times when this all seems very overwhelming, and yet I'd like to get back to work. But you know what overwhelms me the most? The fight all of us, teachers and students alike, will be tempted to put up because the norms are changing. Nothing we're about to do will be what we've always done. Nothing. Not one thing. The two words "I can't" have the potential to fly around the buildings every second. I will be guilty of those words too as the frustration levels rise. But there's always a but, right? An alternative, a possibility, a new way, maybe a better way of doing things might just be around the corner. A new dimension to the grade level teams might provide more personal relationships to develop. Maybe teachers could find ways to reach their students in new ways. Maybe students could be intrigued and motivated to experience a new way of learning. The journey is about to begin. For me, it's forging ahead along the journey I've been on all spring and summer. For others, it might be the same or a completely new path. Either way, we've never been here before. Others before us have. There have been sicknesses all throughout history. We aren't the first generations to make sacrifices, and our story isn't worse than those before us. Nor is our story worse than our neighbors. I've heard and read some very incredible words this summer. For a moment, I want to focus on awareness. Awareness keeps our minds from becoming victim to our thoughts. I've talked about this before, but I, for one, have to keep coming back to it. You are very aware of that after listening to me this far into this episode. I want to suggest a few things that I am working on that are helping me at this moment, and then maybe next time I will feel I can dive into this into more depth. My challenge for myself is to be more conscious and aware of the moment I am in. At this moment, my hands are poised over the keyboard. As I'm typing this, I was thinking this. And I'm carefully crafting my awareness into something someone else can understand. If I pause for a moment, stay in that moment, I can feel a very alive sensation on the tips of my fingers as they touch the computer keys. I don't need or want to let thoughts of tomorrow, the next few days, or the next few weeks into that space. How am I trying to get better at being more in the moment? As I've read and listened to the strategies laid out by many greater minds than mine, I started with breath. Am I breathing? Focusing on the breath, I meter it. I let no other thoughts into my brain besides this. When my mind tries to interfere with a thought, I literally say, no. I will not allow you to take this moment away from me. I am an infant in this process. I'm working on awareness through the simpler things in my life. I've already talked about how I listen to the birds and try to see the world as Patch sees it while I'm walking. And as it was explained by one author, as if you're seeing a tree or the sky for the first time. Other ways to begin are through everyday activities, brushing your teeth, walking up the stairs, fixing dinner. What are the sensations you feel while doing these things? Why do I want to become this aware person? Because I want to enjoy every moment of my life from this point forward. I don't want the thoughts that occupied my mind and manifested themselves into this episode to control who I am. I don't want my mind to interfere with who I have the potential to be. As you have heard, my thoughts last night took away the peace and enjoyment of spending the day with my mother and David. There are enough outside factors in our world that we cannot control working to take away our peace. If I can learn to just be, then I am at least enjoying who I am. I came to realize this morning that I am enjoying this part of my journey. We are always chasing the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but the beauty lies within the rainbow. What do you say we open our minds and enjoy the colors along the way? Besides the reading and listening I'm doing, writing and making this episode also helped me work through some of the heavier thoughts in my mind. I encourage you to spend time on you, even though you may believe there isn't time. I'm anxious to see what the next week brings as I continue to get back to school. I'm sure I'll share. Until then, like, share, and subscribe. God bless.